Today, I want to talk about one of my favorite stories in the Bible, the wedding at Cana from John 2:11. You probably know it. It's where Jesus turns water into wine at a wedding. But have you ever thought about how this story relates to us today? Let's dive into it together. First off, this was Jesus' first miracle. It's like the big kickoff to his public ministry. And what I love about it is that it didn't happen at a synagogue or in front of religious leaders. No, it happened at a wedding during a celebration. Right away, we see that Jesus isn't just about the big spiritual moments. He cares about everyday life, our celebrations, our struggles, and even the things we think not matter to him. So here's the situation. The wedding runs out of wine, which back then was a huge deal. Like, imagine being at a wedding today and the caterer runs out of food halfway through. Everyone's awkward, the bride and groom are stressed, and people are whispering about it. That's kind of what was happening here. And you know who steps in? Mary, Jesus' mom. She notices the problem and goes straight to Jesus, saying, "They have no wine." I just love this because it reminds me of how my mom is always the first to spot when something's off. Like one time I was going through a really tough season, feeling overwhelmed, and I didn't even say anything. But my mom just knew. She asked, "What's wrong?" and reminded me to pray about it. Sometimes we need someone to push us toward Jesus when we're too caught up in the problem. Anyway, Mary tells Jesus, and even when he says, "My hour has not yet come," she doesn't argue. She just turns to the servants and says, "Do whatever he tells you." That's such a lesson for us today. How many times have we prayed about something but still tried to control the outcome? Mary shows us what real faith looks like, bringing the problem to Jesus and trusting him to handle it. And then Jesus does something amazing. He tells the servants to fill these huge stone jars with water. And not just any jars. These were used for ceremonial washing, like part of their religious rituals. So Jesus takes something ordinary, something that people probably walked past without thinking twice, and turns it into the best wine they've ever tasted. Now let me pause here because this part hits home for me. There have been times in my life where I felt like that water, ordinary, not enough, maybe even a little used up. But when I've trusted Jesus, he's taken those moments and turned them into something better than I could have imagined. Like the time I was struggling with self-doubt about starting this channel, I thought, who am I to share anything about God? But God took that fear and turned it into confidence, not in myself, but in him. So what does this mean for us today? 1. Jesus cares about the details of our lives. Sometimes we think, why would God care about my little problems? But this story shows that he does. Running out of wine might seem minor, but Jesus stepped in. Whatever you're dealing with, big or small, you can take it to him. 2. Transformation happens when we trust him. Those stone jars, they were filled with plain old water, but in Jesus' hands, they became something amazing. That's what he does with our lives. He takes our messes, our ordinary moments, and transforms them into something beautiful. We just need to trust him, like Mary and the servants did. 3. God's timing is perfect. Jesus says, "My hour has not yet come," but he still acts in a way that reveals his glory. Sometimes we feel like God is silent or slow to answer, but his timing is always perfect. I remember praying for clarity about my purpose for months, and when the answer finally came, it was so clear and so much better than what I had planned. Under 4, the best is yet to come. I love that the wine Jesus provides is better than anything served before. It's a reminder that with Jesus, the best is always yet to come. Even when life feels hard or hopeless, God has something better in store. So here's my challenge to you. What's your empty jar right now? What's that area in your life where you feel like there's nothing left? Maybe it's a relationship, your job, or your faith. Bring it to Jesus. Trust him to fill it and transform it, because he will. All right, that's it for today. Let me know in the comments what stood out to you, or if you've ever experienced a water into wine moment in your life. And if you're feeling like you've run out of hope, I just want to remind you, Jesus is still in the business of miracles. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next video. God bless.